for both of you guys. Just how good did it feel coming off the series win over Texas to just kind of keep this momentum going, especially offensively, and put up 12 runs and double-digit hits?
Yeah, I felt great, especially after the weekend before. Yeah, I mean, people were kind of feeling down. We were feeling down a little bit. I know fans were, but you know, after the Friday game, there was just kind of a new feeling of confidence. Even after we lost, I don't know. I think everyone felt it, and everyone could vouch for that. But we felt really good going into, I guess it was going into Sunday. Everyone felt really good and confident, and you know, having Will on the mound, and especially after that game too, that second game, everyone was feeling great, was feeling confident, and you know, everyone, we felt like we were going to win that next game. And again, to come out today and do what we did today, put up double-digit runs, you know, it's a great momentum booster going into this weekend.
Yeah, it felt amazing. You know, the whole team came together and bonded, and you know, we went through a tough stretch. I think we lost, 4 straight games, and lost some games that we think we could have pulled out. And then to lose the first game in Texas and then come back for a doubleheader and then come together as a group and pitchers execute, hitters execute, you know, against a really tough team, it just felt amazing. And, you know, just I think it's something that we're going to build on. And like I said, it's just a start. We have a long season left, and it's a marathon. And I believe that that's going to be just a start of a nice long run for us that might lead to good things. So.
Talking about execution, you know, you guys were advancing runners tonight, getting them in from third with less than 2 outs. How important it is for you guys to execute in situations like that going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most important part of having a successful offense. You know, it's hard just to string random hits together here and there and really score a lot of runs, and that's kind of what we were doing at the beginning of the season. And I feel like the last 5-6 games, you've really seen us kind of just have a more timely offense, be more situational, moving guys over, driving guys in with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. You know, there's been a lot of I felt there's been a lot of situations where we've maybe had a guy on first with no outs and had a ground ball and a sac fly or something along those lines where, you know, we don't even have a hit after a guy gets on and we end up scoring runs, and that's a huge part of having a productive offense. So it's good to see that we've been improving on that quite a bit, and I think we're going to continue to.
Yeah, I second that point. Our offense is really starting to click, I think, at the right time. You know, we're racing Tennessee this weekend and Vanderbilt the next weekend and starting SEC play. So against the better teams with better pitching and, you know, the horses are out, that's the things that matter. You know, that's really base runners are few and far between. And in tight games, that's stuff that matters. And the fact that we're executing that now, and we executed a little bit during the Texas as well, that's how we pulled those games out. That could really help us in SEC play and help us, you know, in the long run. So it's really important. So, yeah.
Both of you guys, Coach Kingston called Tennessee probably the best team in the country. Just what have you seen from them, and how big of an opportunity is this for you guys to kind of keep the ball rolling against a really, really good Tennessee team?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have a pretty potent offense. We remember that from last year, and they still got a lot of those guys. And you know, they've got a lot of guys who can come out and throw mid-90s and even higher than that. And so it's a power ball team and ball club, I guess. But that's something that we kind of got a little taste of this last weekend, and it's not going to be something that jumps us. It's not going to be something that surprises us. So, you know, we feel good, and we feel like we're going to be ready for it this weekend.
Yeah, Tennessee is a very high-octane team in terms they have a lot of power arms, a lot of power bats, and they have a lot of speed as well. So definitely one of the best teams in the country, I guess, in my mind. And, you know, it's going to be a challenge. You know, that's why you come to college, and you come to face the best teams and the best talent. And as a group, I believe that we can come together and, you know, if we can do the same thing that we did against Texas, against Tennessee, I think our chances are pretty good. So very talented team, very talented team.
Michael, I think you extended your hitting streak to 16 games today, if I'm not mistaken. How does it feel, and what does it do for you to have this sort of great start to your young career, and how do you keep continuing that moving on?
Honestly, I mean, it's great, but at the same time, you know, there's a long way to go. You know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, it's only been 16 games. So I can't really dwell on it too much. We still got SEC play to go, so a lot of steps to take before there's I'm considered a great player yet. Honestly, I don't consider myself a great player yet, but I need more time. And like I said, it's great to have that, but at the same time, my goal is to just help my team, and my goal is to just help us win. And whether I have a hitting streak or not, that's my goal. So that really it's cool, but got to take it with a grain of salt personally. So.
Then for you, Andrew, just as a fifth-year guy, how would you assess how you've played this far? And then again, since you're a fifth-year guy, what does it mean to have a freshman performing? Does he kind of have a similar leadership impact that I've heard some of you fifth-year guys have?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I've gotten off to a pretty good start so far, and my biggest takeaway has been the RBIs. Going into the season, that was my biggest goal, is to drive in as many runs as possible and be the guy that the team relies on to do that, especially in the tough spots, 2 outs, and so that's kind of what I take away as the biggest positive so far. And to have Michael, I mean, I've said it before a bunch of times, there's not many freshmen, not any that I've seen run through here that have, the confidence and just the ability to not let nerves get the best of them. This is a big stage coming out to South Carolina as a freshman, and being our starting shortstop as a freshman. That's not many guys have been able to do that, and to do it with the confidence and just the ease that he does it. It's really impressive.
And one thing before we leave, I just want to thank Andrew Eyster. Honestly, I respect him, and he's a great leader on this team and a leader to me. And I just wanted to point that out to me, just let y'all know he's a off the field amazing person, great leader, just a great guy to be around, and just really appreciate him being with the program. He makes it easier for you freshmen. So
thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll leave on that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.